Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Mekakodash. Double honor to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us the truth and who rule well. Peace, love, salutations, and mercy be unto the hopeful elect. Back again with another one through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Adoran Ratazadis is edifying. I remember Apostle Tahar mentioned that we should get into watching these apocalyptic films and post-apocalyptic films just to get in the mind state and an idea of how things would be in the time to come. And such movies like The Road was recommended as a watch, which is a good watch, as well as the Book of Eli, I Am Legend. And those movies display how things are going to be very uncomfortable. All right, there's going to be a contracting. There's going to be a straight and narrow situation that we have to endure, which the word narrow or straight, Salakia, the word straight means a place of difficulty. The scriptures identify the times that we're getting ready to head into, which we're already in there, but the path gets even narrower. It's going to be a place of difficulty. Brothers are going to get chased out of their houses. People are going to get evicted. There's going to be chaos and calamity all around us. And the reason of watching these movies is to get a glimpse of how those things will be so that you can build up a sense of being used to that. So having that in your mind, as well as being exercised through the hell that you're catching, is strengthening you and building up your faith to endure these times, because that's what you're going to need in these times. You're going to need endurance. You're going to need to be steadfast. You're going to need to have stability, which our stability comes through the scriptures. And that's the reason why it says, blessed is he that readeth. It also says that faith come by the hearing of the word. And when you read these scriptures, you're hearing them within your mind. Unless you're reading out loud, then you're hearing them with your actual ears. Or when you're hearing these scriptures broken down and taught to you, then that's when your faith becomes built up. And that's ultimately if Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has blessed you with the gift of faith. All right, because all men have not that gift, to truly believe in the scriptures. So you have the prophets of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai that prophesy and break down the words of the scriptures, and those that are meant to get it and that are allowed to understand will build up the faith in the scriptures, especially when it comes down to prophecies. Now, who speaks prophecies? It's the prophets. One of the movies that I've watched recently is The Road. And in the opening scene of The Road, he's explaining, what went down in the earth and how people were becoming chaotic. And then there's a sign of Jeremiah 19:9, which The Road was about pretty much, the guy was traveling on the road. But really, in the post-apocalyptic time, or when the time when all hell is breaking loose, you want to try your best to stay off the road. Really, there's going to be chaos and calamity happening everywhere, but mainly the main place where people will flock to, which they know the mind of people, all right, and they show within these films. Now, you may say, oh, well, you're just quoting films. Well, isn't there a saying, art imitates life? So the things that happen in those movies, they will happen in real life. The main thing that people do when all hell breaks loose is they flock to the freeway. They try to get out of town. But guess what? That causes traffic to become congested. So now you're stuck. All right, because everyone has the same idea and the same mindset. All right. And it goes from that to all hell breaking loose on the roads. People turning on each other, robbing each other. All right. Kidnapping, people's children, women. All sorts of things will happen. And this is the reality of that situation. All right. Things are about to get so bad, especially when Esau Edom locks down the cities. And there's no escaping. There's no going here or going there. All right, food isn't easily accessible because there was a famine. All right, and because they're not allowing import and export. So when the goods run out, what happens to people? Our neighbors will turn on each other. And that's what the scriptures say. The scriptures say that neighbors are going to turn on each other. Your friends are going to turn against friends. Neighbors are going to turn against neighbor. Family members against family members. All right, all for the sake of self-preservation. So this is what he was explaining within the movie. But there came a point where it showed a billboard, and the billboard, which it's through the spirit that this was on the billboard, because you can consider it advertisement. An advertisement pretty much advertises something to you, put something directly in your face. The elites know what's going to happen. They know that they want to lock these cities down, and they know what's going to happen. All right, oftentimes in history, when situations like this happen and the place became besieged, what happened to the people that were within the place when the place became besieged? All right, this is what happened. The book of Luke, the 19th chapter, is the book of Luke 19 and 43. And it reads, 42. I'll start at 41. It says, "And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, If thou hadst known, even thou at least in this day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. For the days shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy salvation." So Yahushua was speaking of 70 AD. And in 70 AD, things got so bad to the point where, cities were besieged. The enemy cast a trench around them, which were the Romans. And that led to starvation. And in the time of starvation, people began to look at each other as food. This is a serious situation that happened. The Bible prophesies it. The Bible said that it happened. And you can go and look it up and correlate it with history. All right, with secular history. The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and beginning at the 49th verse, it says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, and from the end of the earth as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard a person of the old, nor show favor to the young." Which that happened again during this time when Esau Edom, who are the Romans, came over here to America and enslaved our people. But it also happened during 70 AD. "And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn or wine or oil, or increase of kine or flocks of the sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high fence walls come down, wherein thou trustest, throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all the gates throughout all thy land, which Yahweh thy power shall have given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy son and thy daughter, which Yahweh thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith the enemies shall distress thee. So concerning 70 AD, all right, this happened when the land was besieged and the people were given unto starvation. All right, there was a famine. So they began to eat their children and to kill and eat each other. In the book of Josephus said that even if people saw what appeared to be a shadow of food, they would break into your house and rob you. You know, there was an account of one woman who was a woman that was pretty rich. You know, she was a noble woman, and she was given into the famine as well. So this thing isn't going to just affect just the poor. It's going to be something that affects the wealthy and the rich as well. And the account says that she split her baby in half, and she ate half, and she saved the other half for the robbers. And when the robbers came in, she explained what happened, and she offered the other half unto them. And it says that they became afraid and they trembled. And why? Because they had to know the things that were prophesied concerning that time of 70 AD. But the scripture says that this time is going to be even worse than that time. The scriptures identify this time as a time of trouble that is unlike any other time since there have been a nation upon the planet Earth. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And that's dealing with the elect. The book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, and the 7th verse, which reads, Alas, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Even 70 D can't be compared to the time that's getting ready to happen. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And that he is dealing with the elect, the same one in Daniel 12:1, which are written in the book. All right, because the elect have good works laid up for them. All right, they're living by faith and by works. And they're part of the elect. The Lord have sealed them from the beginning. So they're going to survive. But for the rest of the people, all right, you won't be delivered from these times. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to give you up to strange things to punish you. All right, does not the scripture say within the book of Job, the 31st chapter and the 3rd verse, is not destruction to the wicked and strange punishments to the workers of iniquity? And those strange punishments are going to come through various different things. Hey, if you go over to the book of Ecclesiastes, I believe that's the 39th chapter, and around the 19th verse. Hey, I'll start right here. In verse 26, it says, The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing, which all of those things are being taken away. Hey, there's a shortage on food. There's a shortage on clothing. And people are about to get evicted in mass numbers all across the United States of America. And what's that going to lead to? It's going to lead to uproars. It's going to lead to more rioting and looting. And when that happens, that's what's next. All right. The military gets called in and the cities get put on lockdown. All these things are for the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. And in the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire, hail, and famine, death, all these were created for vengeance. The teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So these are the things that you're going to have to deal with within these cities on lockdown, because these animals are going to change their place. They're going to escape and they're going to roam through the city. There's going to be lions and bears and tigers roaming through the city. All right. they're going to be hungry too. And what are they going to eat? All right, they're going to eat you people, as well as the sword. Modern day sword is the gun. So it's going to be complete chaos. All right. And people are going to go from house to house searching for people. And why are they searching for people? They're going to search for people to eat them. Now, in the movie The Road, when that billboard appeared and Jeremiah 19:9 appeared on it, all right, which just quickly to grab Jeremiah 19:9, I'll start at 8. It says, and I will make this city desolate and in hissing. Every one that passes thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plague thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemies, and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. And they that seek their lives shall straighten it, which means what? To make it difficult. Now, this was talking concerning something that will happen to Judah, all right, by way of being besieged by, Nebuchadnezzar. But it can be applied to these times, all right, and it can be applied to America because the same event is getting ready to happen state by state. All right, it's about to happen state by state, city by city, town by town. All right, and these people are going to be straightened within the siege. And when there's nothing else to eat, what do you think that they're going to eat? Because that's what the road was about. It was about a chaotic time, a time of calamity, and when there was nothing left. All right, there was no trees, nothing growing on the trees. There was no cattle. Everything was just bare and desolate. And the only thing that was left was people that were fighting to survive or fighting for survival. So you had a group of people that was hunting down people. And the reason that they were hunting them down, because that was their resource. That was their food resource. All right, when that billboard appeared with this scripture on it, he mentioned also at the same time that they were screaming and etc., of people acting wild in that regard. But then he also said that there were deranged chantings. Now, what do you think that those deranged chantings was? All right, the deranged chantings will have to be men of the Lord, quoting the scriptures. If this was a real life scenario, it would be men of the Lord quoting the scriptures. And always within these movies, they tried to make it seem as if the prophets are lunatics, as if they're loony, as if they're crazy. But all the while, if they were crazy, then why are the things that they're saying happening? So really, you would be the one that's crazy not to listen to them if what they're saying is taking place and happening. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have sent unto you the prophets, but you have despised them. So therefore, you won't escape these snares when they come upon the earth. Jeremiah 26:4. And thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh, if ye would not hearken to me to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servant the prophets, whom I have sent unto you, both rising up early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened. So the prophets are the ones that are doing all of this deranged chanting. But you're not hearkening unto them. All right, you think that they're crazy. But how can someone be crazy if the things that they're saying the things that they're saying are going to happen is happening? Jeremiah 29:19. Because they have not hearkened unto my words, saith Yahweh, which I sent unto them, because by my servant the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but you would not hear, saith Yahweh. So you don't want to hear the prophets, all right? So those that don't take heed to the words that are being spoken by the prophets, guess what? They're gonna be the ones that are caught up in these things when they come on the earth as a snare. We're getting ready to go through some stuff. All right. You ain't never have it to, well, some brothers may have went through it, but for the most part, you ain't never had to worry about not having a certain dwelling place. All right? You ain't never had to worry about not having a certain dwelling place. All right? It's something that we're all going to have to go through. 1 Corinthians 4:11. It says, even unto this day, even unto this present day, or present hour, Salakia, even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place. All right, so this is part of the patience that you are going to have to endure, during this time. All right, these kind of things are going to come on you to test your patience, to test your integrity, to test your faith. All right, this is that ultimate trying time that has to come upon the men of the Lord to prove if you're sincere and if you're going to continue on in the faith or not. And it will be in your best interest. At this point, seeing these things happening, knowing in the scriptures that these things were going to come, to continue on so that you can see that glory and you can see that salvation. All right, we're about to be cast out of our houses, man. And we're not going to have any certain dwelling place, and not knowing where our next meal is going to come from, where our next drink is going to come from. Our clothes tattered, being buffeted, being chastened and beaten by the police and escaping, all right, barely with your life. All right, this is the hour of temptation. All right, where they're going to also implement the mark of the beast. And they're going to try to make you to get it. They're going to take certain brothers to FEMA camps and torture them and beat them and try to get them to take the chip. But they will have to have a level of faith and patience to prove that they are faithful martyrs, man. Which a martyr means a witness. One of the ways to prove that you ultimately believe is staying faithful even unto death. Revelations 2:13, it says, I know thy works, all right, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name and hast not denied my faith. All right, thou holdest fast my name and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was a faithful martyr, who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. Now let's look up the word for martyr. All right, which the word martyr just simply means a witness. And who are we a witness to? And Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. All right, to his truth, to this truth, which is our truth. And we hold this truth unto the dear end. All right, and look, G3144. Call Elohim like Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. A witness. All right, one who is a spectator of anything, of a contest in an ethical sense. All right, those who after his example have proved the strength and genuineness of their faith in Yahushua by undergoing a violent death. All right. So it's a witness, someone that actually witnesses something. But then in the ethical sense, is somebody that went through something violent. And no matter the trials that they were going through, they maintained their integrity. They maintained their faith. All right. Even through undergoing something that's very violent. All right, we're about to go through some shit, but we must remain faithful. All right, we must have patience. All right, because the scriptures mention that we're going to be cast out of our houses and not having any certain dwelling places. Like it says right here within the book of second Ezra, the 16th chapter, and beginning at verse 69. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So they're going to come after those that fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is us. All right, and you better believe they know who we are. All right, Esau is monitoring everything. Your phone conversation. For anyone that uses any Amazon apps, no matter if it's the shopping app, if it's a music app, if it's the movie app. All right, you can go into your Amazon settings, and it says it will give you the option to delete voice recordings. So this is something that you consent to if you're using the apps. So if you're using their phones, you automatically consent to them being able to track your location, track your history. All right, so they know exactly what you're looking at. They know exactly what you stand for. So don't think that you can persuade them otherwise. And they just want to get rid of you anyway, just because you're an Israelite. But nonetheless, there's gonna be an insurrection against the men of the Lord. So there's gonna be a rising up. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So when we're being cast out of our houses, we're not gonna have a certain dwelling place, but we're gonna have to be like pilgrims in the earth, going back up to the 40th verse in the same chapter, which reads, O my people, hear my words, make ye ready to the battle. And in those days, in those evils, all right, and in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So a pilgrim is someone that wanders around or flee one place into another, all right, because they don't have a certain dwelling place. That's us. So we're going to be in the midst of all of the chaos, all right, roaming the streets, going through alleyways and being in certain buildings, wherever the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua leads us for succor, all right, for support, for aid. And it may not be the best place, but it may be the best place for you through the spirit to be, so that you can escape the dangerous times and the dangerous circumstances that are going on at that time. All right, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to lead us, those that trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and he's going to make a way for us, a way to eat, all right, a way to drink, a way to have shelter, a way to have clothing, a way to have protection. All right. Back on verse 73, it says, Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. And a lot of people will give up. All right, a lot of people will give up, especially being alone, all right, being scattered. Because usually when there's a situation like this happen, our brothers get scattered. You know, there's accounts within the book of Acts where, you know, persecution was upon the church and they were scattered. So the scriptures speak about in 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter as well, that you shall desire to see a brother. But if you're alone in that day, all right, and there's no one with you, will you continue to trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to sustain you and to bring you unto salvation? All right, this is the seriousness. All right, this is the seriousness of what's getting ready to happen. 2 Timothy 4:18. And the Lord shall deliver me from every evil work. All right, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua shall deliver me from every evil work and will preserve me into his heavenly kingdom, to whom be glory forever and ever. All right, so will you continue to trust in the scriptures and that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua would deliver you and preserve you into the kingdom? Hey, what does the word preserve mean? Let's look it up in the Greek. The word there is sozo in the Greek, sozo. And it means to save, keep safe, sound, to rescue from danger or destruction. Because that's what we're going to be going through, to save a suffering one from perishing, an example, suffering from disease, to make well, heal, restore, and health. If you're sick in that day, do you believe that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua can make you healthy? If you're hungry in that day, do you believe that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua can feed you or give you something to drink? If you're in the midst of danger, do you believe that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua can preserve you from the danger? To preserve one who is in danger of destruction, to save or rescue, to save in the technical biblical sense. All right, to save in the technical biblical sense. So, would you believe that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua will preserve you in that day? All right, in which he will, if you remain faithful if you continue to trust in him, all right, he will save you. All right, you might be on the run and you may have to flee from city to city, from town to town, but Yahweh Shema Shai will make a way for you to escape the temptation. And with that same temptation to cause the wicked to perish in it, to judge them with it. Like it says in 2 Peter, the second chapter. And I believe that's verse 9. Matthew 10:23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily, verily, I say unto you, ye shall have not gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be. So when they begin to persecute us in one city, all right, we're going to have to flee into another, or flee into another town. All right. But there's about to be a lot of things going on. All right. Things that your eyes aren't used to seeing. All right. Very scary and terrible things. All right. That will make a man to tremble. The scripture says that man's hearts will fail them for fear of seeing the things that are happening in the earth. All right. So grown men. All right. Strong men. Strong-minded men. Which goes to show you that really the only strength that's real strength is not the strength of the body, which is, brute strength, but the strength of the mind, which you're strengthening the mind by way of your faith. All right. If you have strong faith, then I remember watching, and I hate to tie this into this, but the movie Captain America. Now, this was a real scrawny dude, and he was little. He was real small. But, all right, he wouldn't give up. All right, he had strength. All right, he had strong mental fortitude. All right, he just wouldn't give in. He wouldn't give up. Well, that's how we have to be in that day. Although we understand that America is coming to its end. All right, we have to be strong in faith, because that's the only thing that's going to get us through these times. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. All right, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. All right, so when 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, verse 12 through 19 is happening, all right, you have to have strong faith to be able to get through these times. So I'm going to conclude the lesson right there. All right, these cities are about to be besieged. There's going to be famines. And in the famines, people are going to be doing things unto each other, chasing each other, seeking each other's life, all right, for food, all right, robbing and eating each other. There's going to be a lot of things that you aren't prepared for unless you understand the scriptures. And those that aren't prepared, these are going to be the ones that are eating each other, killing each other, slaying each other. All right, all for self-preservation. But at the end, it's to no avail, because this place is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Which means that what? You just saved yourself alive for the great sacrifice. So with that, I hope that this lesson was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.